It's not just oddball Americana. It's just sort of a mishmash of like every bad propaganda video you've ever seen, and then added with the layer and the flavoring and the smattering
Mm,
of justice and democracy and that sort of Fallout
For
life.
America.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just America in the future, you know.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's a pretty good way to start the show. So, this is the MPCs podcast. We're here with Dean again, then Josh. We're talking about Helldivers 2. Probably my favorite game in the space right now when it comes to things like how the devs talk to people, how everything gets done in terms of how do they do updates, how do they do weapon progression, and all these kind of cool things. So, I think without further ado, Dean, tell us a little bit about your experience on Helldivers 2 so far. I mean, what do you like about it so far?
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, what I like about it, I don't know, just blowing up stuff. I think that's the
The
biggest
best.
attraction to the game.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is pretty cool.
yeah.
Josh, I know
Um,
you haven't seen much, right?
No. Only seen like clips of it.
yeah,
Don't be hearing so much. But tell us more, Dean, about it.
Yeah.
yeah. What else do I like? I don't know, just blowing up stuff. The weapons are pretty good. I like how like you can just call in like some explosions and it comes from the sky. It
Yeah.
just blows up, you know.
So
Yeah.
yesterday, when I was playing last night,
Mm.
all I did was throw orbitals at everything.
Mm.
I just packed my entire resource bar was just orbital strikes of
Yeah.
different variety, and I was just telling I'll throw them. I just tell people, don't go there. If you're already there, run backwards, run towards me. We'll be
Oh, God,
safe.
there's like friendly fire in this game, right?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
everything's friendly fire except aliens and robots can't friendly fire each other,
Oh,
which is
Yep.
kind of annoying. I think they need to patch that. But so I think getting into the crux of the thing, which was I shared with Josh a while ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, about why Helldivers is winning in my book. And one of the things that they do super well is the developer is super. I don't want to say chill. The developer's not chill, right? But the developers bought into the logic of the game that everything they do on the Twitter space or whatever social media handles that they have, it's all about driving that propaganda message forward,
Mm.
right? It's like, oh, um, how come the aliens can fly now? We didn't know the aliens can fly. Our intelligence reports have not
Mm.
reported that aliens can fly, but suddenly the aliens can fly. And it took people uploading screenshots and videos for the developer to acknowledge the fact that they left it out of the update. So I felt like that's a really cool way of doing community engagement, right? To
mm.
release something that kind of is an Easter egg but isn't, and then just sort of not calling attention to it, and then letting everyone sort of suffer the consequences, right? It's so counterculture to your Activision Blizzards of these worlds that they get on stage and they just go around telling people like, ah, yeah, you have phones, right? Everyone wants to play Diablo on their phone.
Mm.
Mm.
Any thoughts on that so far?
I kind of like it. It kind of like makes you as a player to feel like, hey, I'm actually taking part in this war. You know,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm,
I think the marketing is perfect for like nowadays, especially. You know, uh,
yeah. It's
yeah.
actually kind of cool. Like it serves it on its own, right? It doesn't kind of. There's no one telling them like, oh, we need to do A, B, and C.
Mhm.
They're just going, hey, you know what? We built this game. Let's like power through, not power through.
Mhm.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Let's
Mm.
just emulate the society. Let's emulate this. Like completely welcome the propaganda. Become the government.
Mm.
Become
Mm.
Super Earth, right?
Yeah, yeah, and be part of us. You know, be part of the community and stuff. Something which I think all of us are. Maybe Joshua might join soon. Hmm?
Yeah, you
Oh,
should.
true.
Because you
It's
can join Discord
coming
on your
out.
PlayStation now, right?
Yeah. So we actually bought the game. We haven't started playing it, but
Mm.
because John brought me, I heard about it, but John
Mm.
brought the article to me, and yeah, I think what he mentioned in terms of community, right? it's also it's not like how most developers have done it in the past years, where they just sit in their glass towers and they do like a summit during one of a couple of the big econs here and there. They make announcements and then that's it. Then wait for the updates and blah blah blah. It's actually interactive. It's
Yeah.
like you guys are saying, it's immersive, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of like, I mean, I don't mean to rag on it, but it's kind of like the proper thinking to how the metaverse should be, instead of waiting for these metas of the world to develop a platform, and we have to pay Apple and shit thousands of USDs just to put on our face, right? It's just get out into the community and just, it's analog, right? It's so cool that what these developers have done. It's bringing the, I don't want to say fantasy, but it is what it is, right? I mean, but it's honestly, we most of us lead pretty boring lives. Right?
That is true. Yeah.
It does. I mean, it's true, right? I mean, and this is like, we don't need to wait for this kind of Second Life platforms to come up. It's just, it's easy. It's just so easy to get people into things. Just
It's
buy into
true.
the fantasy, yeah. Just buy into the narrative.
One of the cool things that sort of struck out to me what you were talking about was like metaverse and meta and all these things about Second Life and having crypto life away from decentralized banks or whatever fucking whatever, like like their whole the Web3 gimmick is just sort of a gimmick, right? Like they haven't figured it out. They go, yeah, like we exist. These things are cohabitual together, just like your NFTs are. But in reality, like the connection is really weak. It doesn't stick. A lot of people don't seem to see that their NFTs are going like above and beyond a certain core value and all that kind of stuff. Like I just got into Magic the Gathering, right? So we play the Lord of the Rings set. You can get the One Ring, and that was like sold for 2.3 million US dollars to what's his name?
Post Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone. And the thing is like that's real collectible. The rest of this stuff is man. It's just a nice screensaver, man. Like,
yeah.
But the cool thing was about world building is that, so I don't know if you know, but this just happened recently. I only found out yesterday. So in the game, you were supposed to choose to save either of two planets. And if you choose to save one planet, the other planet's obviously going to die, but you get a certain reward, right? And the community gets to vote by choosing to save the planet. Now, in typical like sort of propaganda-ish style of concept, the reward is poorly thought out. It's a rocket launcher that actually has a spread pattern, and if it shoots within a certain range, it kills everybody, including your own teammates. It is the most useless rocket launcher of all time. I mean, you need to be 100 meters away from somebody before he launches it, right? But it was one of those things that reminded me of all the stupid things, like when you watch Iron Man 2, and what's not Obadiah Stane? It's the second guy. What's in Hammond Industries or something like that?
Hammer Industries.
Yeah, Hammer Industries. He tries to build his own Iron Man suit, and it basically like twists one human person around and breaks his spine. And they go, "Oh, cut the film. It's fine. It still works." You know what I mean? Like this had that flavor all over it. It was like, "Oh yeah, no, we're totally developing guns. We're testing the guns. It's safe for use. You can go and use it in the battlefield." And then you get there and use it. You're like, "No, actually, you were part of a beta test program. We will not improve this gun.
Yeah.
We just wanted to have real world experience to see whether it works." It's brilliant. It's so many parts infuriating at the same time as it is like sort of part of that ethos that like war is never intelligent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It exists to serve its own function, and whatever technologies come of it don't necessarily mean it's good, right? They just found new ways of killing people, just the wrong people, right, so to speak.
Yeah, we're the civilians are never never true civilians. You know, they always end up fighting.
Yeah.
And fun fact about this game:
Yeah.
each time you die, actually So you don't hold on to a character. You basically hold on to like what your little army
Hmm.
looks like. So each time you die, they send in another person in,
Oh,
and which
really?
you'll play. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, so everyone's replaceable.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that
So there
means
you go.
so the group of four,
Mm,
they're dressed in their own battalion uniform, which you
yeah.
design. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yes.
That's kind of neat, right? It sort of fits into this. I like this sort of Warhammer type ish thing
Yeah.
where every unit is a specialized unit. One uses a bolter, one uses a I don't know what,
Yeah. Yeah.
and one's a support sort of thing. I had no idea. I had
Yeah.
no idea. I
It
just
is very
figured,
dark too, because like each time like you die, and then like you'll be like, oh, I kind of like this character, but then like they send in another person, and you're like, oh, I'm playing a different person now. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was the same person because you get to choose the voice pack, right? Unless you choose random.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
So
the characters don't regenerate, is it? They just once
no,
they're
you choose a body type,
Yeah.
and then you
right.
choose a voice pack, right?
Hmm.
So, but now I know why it has random. So if you select random or voice packs, right, you could be a girl the next time you drop. You could be a
Yeah.
fat dude the
Guy.
next time you drop.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny like that, right? So it kind of builds into that thing where we're just shoveling souls into a suit and sending them
Mm,
out for war, right?
yeah.
Wow, that's deep. That took a surprising turn. I guess it's deep. It's like a social commentary on war, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's like every soldier. Once you step in the battlefield, you're bound to die either way. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, you just added a whole new layer to this
Mm.
game for me.
Mm.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, I was just thinking community. Now I'm thinking, damn. You know what kind of gives me that vibe of when you play XCOM and you name
XCOM. Oh
all
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that game.
you name all the troops after your friends, and
Mhm.
then like every time they die, you're like, oh, this is.
Mm.
I guess this is Joshua the Third.
His soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, like, it's quite interesting. Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Who would have
It
thought?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like how it's a very Starship Troopers kind of vibe. Have you guys remember that
Yeah.
movie?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I used to. I've watched the movie several times, but I
Mhm.
used to be a real big fan of the 3D. They had like two or three
Oh.
seasons
Mhm.
of the cartoon, right? And
Mhm.
it's following Rico's Roughnecks throughout the
Mm.
galaxy and all that, and they're doing all sorts of dumb missions and shit. It's super super fun and like was easy to get into, but the rest of Starship Troopers just took a nosedive after the movie, man. Like,
Mm.
holy smokes!
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I remember the cartoon version. The guy's name's Razak, Razak, Razak. But like when I read the name, it's like but do we like call it like Razak here?
Razak.
Yeah, Razak, Razak.
it's just like that reminds me. I was watching a Waro graphics video today,
Mm.
and it was about Myanmar and how the Myanmari, the Burmese, the
Mm.
junta is about to fail. So it's being attacked by like 5 different rebel forces, right?
Mhm.
And this guy who's presenting those war graphics, right? He couldn't for the life of him say Myanmar properly, and he couldn't
Mm.
say Burmese properly. He couldn't say Burma properly. And after a while, I was just like, God damn, freaking British people! It's like you still can't even call the name of the country by the way it's supposed to sound. Like, I was like, you know what? I was interested to find out. Now I don't care. X.
Myanmar, huh?
No, he wasn't even saying that. He was saying Myanmar.
Myanmar?
It was akin to saying Myanmar. I was like, you gotta be kidding, right? And then like he couldn't even say Burma. It was like I don't even know what he said. It was like Barma or something. I'm like,
And the dude was English, right? Was it?
yeah, no, like super thick British accent,
Mm.
like very hoity-toity. He almost sounds like Babish in a way. Well, Babish is
Wasn't
not British,
Myanmar
right?
a former colony? What's his excuse for not being able to pronounce?
Well, I mean, for the same reason why, what's it called? What was the name
Mm.
of all the cities in India were colonial named, right? Like
Uh,
Bombay is and then
Mumbai.
Madras became Chennai, and
Mm.
then Bombay was is now
Mumbai?
Mumbai. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Colonizers, man. Wow. Suddenly we're in a deep rabbit hole about colonization,
Yeah.
man. How do you feel about the democracy of Helldivers 2? Do you feel like you're liberating people with the significance of voting at all? Like, who gets to vote? Do you think the democracy is on the end of the player? So
Mm,
they say democracy, right? And the only way you get to choose to vote is by liberating one system or another system. There are no other choices, right?
there are no other choices, like if you actually like, because like they constantly update their Twitter, and then like one day like this developers will be like, hey, we need help on the other side of the other side of the galaxy to fight against like the automatons, the
Oh,
robots, right? And like the people like on the gamers will be like, oh wow, we gotta serve our democracy, we gotta serve our super earth, this and that, they're so into it. So you know what, democracy, lefty, righty, whatever. Let's kill some bugs, kill
yeah.
some robots,
Do you think that's pretty cool? Like I didn't think about that.
yeah.
Imagine if like further down the line, like season 2 and 3, they're
Mm.
going. There's a splinter cell at Earth. Are you a
Mm.
Republican or are you or some sort of liberal? And then you have to fight a war.
Yeah.
But it seems a bit crazy though. So like one of the things that I really liked about the game was the automatons. It is
Yeah.
Josh, you need to try this. It's just
Mhm.
crazy. You just go in and there's just no survival at
Mm.
all. There's nothing you
Really?
can do to survive. You're just basically running for your life the entire time.
Yeah.
It's exactly how I imagine sort of a sci-fi battle to happen. Like,
Like
but
the scene in
Right.
Terminator 3.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, in the
Skynet, no?
war. Yeah,
Yeah.
Skynet. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
yeah, it's drawing a lot of inspiration from
Mm.
a lot of pop culture things, which is quite cool.
Mm.
Quite
It
enjoy
is.
that and all that. So, what else can we say about Helldivers 2? I was thinking that this is going to be a heavy topic.
Mm.
We're running out of points to talk about, but I was thinking like everything about it from the ground up, like as I said before, right? It's made to be cumbersome. The way you walk and run in the game, you can drown in your own armor even if it's a shallow pool,
Mm.
which is kind of stupid. But I mean, all these details go into the game development. Like someone thought that it would be funny if it was frustrating in this way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Add a layer of difficulty. It's like, well, not all armor is floatable. So you kind of have to fucking figure out what happens next to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember playing in a harder level because like my friends would like just jump in and then be like, hey, let's play on a level like level 50 kind of difficulty, right?
Oh,
And oh my god, like it's just roughneck, like because like I'm a lower level
yeah,
and my weapons are like no good. Like, oh, I can't kill like this this robot with chainsaws on the arms, like with
Mhm.
my
yeah,
with
yeah,
my
yeah.
pew pew, and yeah, it's like they make you want to like first of all, like the grinding itself takes some time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like grind every single day, I guess, something like that. And they kind of like pressure you because like they say, hey, we need like people here to fight for like this side of the planet, in exchange we'll give you like better weapons,
Yeah.
something like that,
It's
Is
the I.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but
what is this call to arms only on like X and Twitter, or is it kind of like it's
No,
like in-game announcements?
it's
Okay,
exactly
you
that.
do.
It's
Okay.
in-game announcements. Yeah.
mm,
So they tell you like, oh, the automaton threat's coming. Let's go and do something about it. Things
yeah.
like that. It's everything you thought propaganda would be, right? It's like seeing those like posters, those old World War II posters where it says
Mhm.
like German nurses don't have a soft touch. They're all bearded men in disguise kind of thing. All these weird like British propaganda and the Americans used to do about like German women not being real women. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy, crazy, crazy things, right? Like you can Google them. I think they're still available online and all that. But yeah, it's just they took it to another level in terms of the how deep you go.
Mm,
So not
Mm.
only do you name your ship, which is I guess now your battalion, right?
Mhm.
But on top of that, the best part about that was that don't tell me lost my train of thought. Is that the battle pass is called War Bonds.
Mm.
You can buy the battle pass or you can earn it. And this game requires you to, if you want something, just grind. Just grind, no issue. Take a higher level, go team up with higher level teammates, have them
Yeah.
complete all the objectives for you. And it makes the game a little bit. Is this game as a service? I feel like people don't mind spending money on
Mm.
because you see the level of effort, right?
Yeah, and it's really pricey too. It's like was that like 100? It was 170 for me, I think.
Well,
And
for the whole war bond,
no. So trying to say for the game itself, yeah, it's 170.
oh
But
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
reward one itself, like I think you have to grind to unlock the war bond, right? Or can you like purchase some stuff?
You can use super credits, I think, right?
Oh yeah, super
Yeah.
credits. Yeah. So you can pick up super credits like while you're on a mission or something like that. But like if you you kind of like, hey, I don't want to like grind too much. So it's like
Cheap.
I'm just buy. It's like what, $100, $30, something like that.
But I feel like they did it right. Like they don't lock
Yeah.
anything special behind a paywall. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
spend the time to earn it, and it's not like it took me forever to get like tier 4 level weapons. Like I
Mm.
now have a medium armor pen
Mhm.
weapon and all that, or I
Mhm.
have like a huge machine gun that like can mow down like hordes of like aliens very quickly. But I feel
Mhm.
like all these things were like readily available from the outset of the game. You just
Mhm.
had to go in there and go like, yeah, okay, I got a few credits, I just buy. And the whole premise is predicated on if I want more stuff, I just have to complete harder difficulties.
Mm. Yeah.
So it made the replay value slightly better, right? Slightly more fun.
Yeah. And if you get bored, like you can just change your difficulty. Like hey, like um the previous mission is like too easy for me. I can just change it to like the most difficult if I want to. So that's I think that's a good feature.
Hmm. I'm trying to think of what other game does something like this. Because to be fair, I feel like Helldivers is probably
Mm,
one of the only ones that is so
Yeah,
consumer
right.
friendly.
That's what I've been thinking about as well.
Hmm.
I can't think of any game in recent time where it's like it's this sort of like communicative.
mhm.
Yeah. In terms of communication, I can't remember the last time. Like I was gonna say Apex, but like Apex is not
Mm.
communicative. Apex was like they gave a lot of stuff for free, right?
Mm.
Like you do the battle pass, the game is free. Then if you want to grind their characters, you can, which I did.
Mhm.
Until like I did 2 or 3 battle passes, and I managed to use that to unlock the pretty much the whole roster of
Mhm.
characters, right? But like I can't think of another game.
Yeah. Before I bought the game, I was like trying to like look for an alternative, and I was like thinking, was Warframe kind of similar? But I remember like I had kind of a similar thing like with Destiny 2. Have you guys tried that game before?
Destiny, I've loaded it up once on
Mhm.
my Xbox, but
Mhm.
well, I couldn't play it on big TV because it's like the first person scrolling on controller. It makes me sick.
It's just odd, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
no, it's like a 50-inch TV and you're trying to play it on controller. It's a bit tough to
it is. Yeah,
coordinate everything.
definitely it is. It's kind of similar. I wouldn't say it's too similar, but like I think like the only similarities is like it's in space and it's just like grindings and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's what the developers of a Helldivers took interest in, and then like they made it more like uh, they put a little bit more initiative and try to like make it an even better version of it.
Yeah, I guess
Mm.
so. I mean, but also in the same sense, they made it better. They also made the game like hilariously worse. Like
Yeah,
the way your character can do a jump, like a
Mm,
leap forward or tumble down like a hill, can also
yeah.
hurt you and stuff like that. It's hilarious. The
Mm,
voice acting is top notch. Like
mm,
you can hear when they get jazzed up and they're starting to shoot like mow down hordes of enemies. It's like they get really jazzed up and they're like start screaming like
yeah.
for democracy. Ah! But the thing I wanted to bring up was the importance of role playing.
Mm,
So it's not just the role that the developer is playing in this entire ecosystem that they built, right?
Yeah.
It's also the role that like people want to play. Like they go in and they feel like, hey, I want a piece of that military sort of taste and flavor. Do you think that has a lot to do with sort of when you have a very strong narrative, right? Like a game like Apex that doesn't have that, right? Like
Mhm.
you just go in there and then you just yell at people and you're salty about everything, or you play Valorant and you get some of the same thing because there's no role play,
Yeah.
right? But here there can be role play, right? You're
Yeah.
an operative or a soldier within this galaxy's super fighting force of Super Earth, right?
Mm.
What do you do? Like I even went in and started doing things like I'll use military commands from now on. You know, like someone pings the
Mm.
location, like Roger that A1, heading to your location now. I'm
Yeah.
on your 6. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
things like that. I feel like that adds a lot of entertainment value
Mm.
when
Yeah.
you're buying into sort of an ethos.
Mm.
Do you
And
guys feel like that's a thing for you?
yeah, and I think like a lot of the influence comes from the social medias that you see. Like when Helldivers just came out, a lot of like this social media videos that was posted, like there will be like something similar to like a movie. They'll add like background music. They'll add like background like voice lines from movies. You know.
Mm.
Yeah,
Or
and
like
like go
from
ahead.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, from Full Metal Jacket.
What is your
But it's,
malfunction, pile?
but it's so fascinating, right? Because like John and Dean, you mentioned earlier, it's like
Mm.
because it makes you wonder as well, like what is the difference then between when we talk about role playing, right?
Mm.
What is the difference from a traditional the type of narrative that we're talking about when it comes
Mhm.
to something so immersive like gaming, right? What is the
Mm.
difference with what we've had for decades, which was like JRPGs, RPGs, think both
Right.
American or Japanese, right? That kind of set narrative compared to what's new with this and why are people getting onto it so much? There must be a difference, right, between the two narratives.
Mm. That is true.
Yeah.
Mm. Maybe like with the rise of like GTA roleplay, people like they found an
Mm,
interest to it, getting a second life. Like, hey, like I want to be like a Grab food driver in this
mm,
digital world. Like maybe
mm,
they, like they they find those kind of interests, and they realize, hey, maybe we can market like our game to be sort of like a role play kind of look thing, because when I was playing with my friends, like he doesn't like it, but I would like just troll on him. I'll be like, sir, yes sir.
so you got the full corporal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
why not? You know what I think might be the magic here, though,
Hmm.
is that in JRPGs or your Final Fantasies or your World of Warcrafts, there are roleplay servers, right?
Mm.
But the roleplay server, even if you're on there, you're just sort of you're mimicking sort of the roleplay that you think that this universe provides, right? Like in Star Wars: The Old Republic, if you go to roleplay server, everyone's a lord or my master or my Padawan or my apprentice or my this or
Mm,
my that, right?
mm,
But I think what makes this roleplay a little bit different, probably, this is just me thinking out loud, is it's likely because the character that you're operating has no personality.
Mm.
He's just a military drone, right?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, as you rightly said, right? He dies, he comes back again as someone else, and then that person could be the same. He's just McBoom Pow the fourth
Mhm.
on
Mm,
this mission. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
so it kind of makes sense that like you would go down this path and play out that role because now you can be as imaginative as you want, right? Like you can cast this guy as any old like private or cadet, and you can make up a story about him that isn't set already, right? Like the world
mm.
didn't set it for you. You're making this narrative, right?
Mm.
Do you
Oh,
feel
that
like
is,
that's probably more attractive?
I never thought of it that way. Actually, it sounds because as a lot of the content that we consume and some of it, I mean, sorry, it's all of our jobs here to be
Mhm.
creators of some at some point, right? When it comes to comms, right? You know
Yeah.
how we always make it an imperative to immerse yourself or to to pick up on there needs to be an investment into a character.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But if like what I'm hearing this right is there is a separate path now for because now I'm thinking of stuff like why do people enjoy stuff like Overcooked and so on where I mean, cooking is fun, but I don't want to stress myself over throwing vegetables and cooking and wrapping sushi and shit. But
Mm.
then it's like it's vanilla menial kind of characters, but it's a role you play, right? And it's simple. So maybe it's not all it's hard up to be, where you need to get people invested into a deep character, but it's just like allow someone, give someone vanilla, and then someone else will come up with strawberry shortcake with that vanilla. No,
Understand?
yeah,
You mean like sort of give them a little bit of the box and then let them push the box around, right?
yeah, but we kind of still gotta. I mean, that's why maybe Helldivers is so successful, because they kind of still keep people in that world, that realm, right? But they make the character vanilla enough, but the world interesting enough to create, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's the maybe that's the magic flavor. No?
I always remember these Soviet Womble videos. Have you seen those?
Mm. Yeah.
The
OG
random
YouTuber.
bullshittery videos.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing a role in games like Arma 3 or
Mm.
Battlefield and all that, or Counter Strike, right? But they're doing such a bad job of it. They're like
Mm-hmm.
they're like the opposite of an elite squad. It's just a squad of idiots, and
Yeah,
they all buy into that role. There's a role play for these characters, right? So
yeah,
I guess in a sense, it sort of gives you that opportunity to be that silly. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's the magic, isn't it? Of like having sort of a game that permeates the conscious a little bit like that.
yeah. And maybe from the sound of it, it just sounds like maybe people just want that satire, just not think things to, we don't always have to. I mean, I know there's a planet to save and bugs to kill, but it's different, right? It's done in a different tone,
Mm,
different flavor, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't really have to put too much thinking into
Mm,
this game. The learning curve isn't like that much.
I love it.
Um
oh, there's a learning curve, man.
yeah.
Trust me. But the learning curve is like it's quick
Mm.
and it's learned by dying, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You'll
There's just no
sacrifice.
other way to go about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess because Helldivers 2 came from they have a Helldivers 1 before this, and it
Hmm.
was more of a instead of a third person, it's a top down.
Oh,
And yeah, so they were like, hey, we have this base, we already have like this kind of like this base game. Like, what do we do to to like make it even better, So I guess like they found like, oh, let's make it more propaganda, let's let's make it third person, like, so people like from PlayStation and PC,
Mm,
be easier for them to play,
mm,
so yeah, they probably found like an untapped market, that especially when it's like when the game industry now is so diluted with like like competitive games
mm,
like
yeah.
Valorant, CS2
yeah,
came out, Street Fighter is pretty competitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how about we find like a game that's like couch friendly, you
Mm,
know, um, go in, kill, and go home. So yeah.
yeah. Actually, that's a
Mhm.
great point because I didn't think of like I could never think of how somebody went from let's create a game to
Mhm.
let's create this game of all games. Do you know what I mean? Like the thought process must have been, hey, we have an asset. How do we then translate this asset? And
Mm.
if you put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Mm.
What's the
mm,
best way of making the best omelet? You know what I mean? Like, how do you feed many people instead of making a bunch of like,
yeah.
like fancy eggs? You want to feed many, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that, Dean? Like, do you think somebody in there, like an investor, is just sort of going, hey, like this game didn't sell well the first time around. You guys gotta fix the shit. You know what I mean? Like, and then the creative director or the game lead designer is like, fuck, think of something, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, towards my knowledge, like, I think this happened with Fallout. if you guys know about it.
Really?
So yeah, so Fallout was bought by Bethesda,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so when they released New Vegas, there was like some sort of like everyone's like, oh, this is actually the best Fallout game in the series. Like I like how they made it this way, and everyone was like giving them props, right?
Mm.
But when Fallout 4 came out, although it's a good game, I still play Fallout 4. But a lot of like this hardcore fans were like, "Oh, something's missing. Like there's some sort of like the mechanics are a bit different. The storyline's a bit, a bit different." And turns out, the owner for Bethesda, he didn't like the way like the creators in New Vegas, the previous game, how they made the game because it was too perfect, and they want to make it like less perfect so they can release like Fallout 76, which is like the game after Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But that was the really screwed up one, right? 76.
Yes.
76
It
is it's like kind of like WoW, right? It's still going, right?
was, yes. It's like online, so it's like, and people didn't really like it, and like, and now like everyone's like saying, hey, why not why didn't Bethesda like take back like the people who did Fallout New Vegas, and there's like ongoing beef, like uh they made it too good, too good. Like we want to make our own thing.
No, but that's such an interesting point, right? Like it's amazing how someone can step in and say that, hey, what you guys did was too perfect. We need to make it more
Broken.
flawed or broken or too broken,
Yeah.
so that we can sell people more shit, extend the revenue potential. Isn't that kind of screwed up? Like, wow.
I think
So
it's like
sad.
ego, huge
Yeah.
ego comes to play,
But I will say one thing. I don't know if you guys seen it yet, but Fallout on Amazon Prime. Holy shit, bro!
Oh,
I
I
mean,
really want to check it out.
that is the series of the last 3 years for me. Like,
Mm.
I would say the only thing that comes close to Fallout Season 1 is Westworld Season 1. Because
Oh, that's pretty good.
Westworld Season 1 fucking broke my mind. But Season 2 was just like, what? Why would you use the same storytelling if it doesn't work here? And then Season 3 was just like, oh my god, even more what? It's like, I couldn't figure it out. But Fallout just, everything was just so right. It's, you know what? It's, to my limited knowledge, because I never played Fallout that much. I played like 15 minutes of Fallout 3 on my Xbox 360. And then like I ended up shooting somebody with my BB gun, and then they killed me. And every time I spawned, they killed me again because I made a mistake. I was trying to be a good guy,
Which you shouldn't, right?
which I shouldn't. Yeah, I should have just let it happen. That girl should have died. So like after that, I just gave up. But the more and more I read about it, the more and more I played Fallout Shelter, the more and more I got into this post-apocalyptic nightmare of a world. When I watched Fallout the series, I was like, this is what I wanted. I didn't have to play the game, but now I know every single thing about this storyline, about this universe. And it's crazy that like something like this, the reason why I'm dying inside, I really want to watch Starship Troopers again. And I know my wife is just gonna be like, "No, what the fuck? Why? This show sucks." And I'll be like, "No, it has Denise Richards. She's hot. She's my age.
It's so bad, but it's good.
It's so good." But like, you play a little bit of Helldivers, and you go, "You know what? I want to watch something like that come to life for me."
So that's kind of like the similar things like when I was watching like those social media posts from Helldivers are like, oh wow, it's kind of influencing you like, hey, telling you like, hey, this is a good game, like you should check it out, So same thing with the Fallout TV show. Like a lot of like the people that watched it, they never played Fallout, and now that they watch Fallout, they'll be like, oh, it's kind of like a cool game. And when they played it, they're
I think the player count has gone up, right, for in recent weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, surely it has.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody wants to jump back into a save file that they haven't finished everything yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey guys, I just want to quickly ask, right? Helldivers is like totally PvE, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? Could it be? I mean, I know we spoke about the narrative and then also some of the pitfalls that other companies have gone through, right?
Mhm.
But could it be that the success of this game, right, is also and why people are so into it is the answer in the number of players? So what I mean is
Mhm.
that so I give you an example where okay, games like I mean obviously like fighting games and so on is one on one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's like total raw competition. But when you have CS and you have the Dotas of the world, it's 5-5. So that number kind of there's a certain amount of toxicity to it, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
I mean, even like Apex has got how many players to it?
What do you
Uh,
mean in a game?
Yeah, in a it's totally 1-1 for. Is it like
It's a squad, right? 3v3 squad, but
yeah.
there's like 20 squads in every map.
okay? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like 3v3, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? There, okay, because I used to play a lot of Monster Hunter 2,
Mm.
like various franchises, and their magic number is also 4.
Mm.
So I'm wondering, like with Helldivers 2, where the magic number is also 4, right? Is there something where with the number 4, right? 4 in a squad, 4 in a team, right? That kind of
Mhm.
just raises up the teamwork, the camaraderie, the less toxicity. Because I don't know how is the community like in like Helldivers 2,
Mm.
but in Monster Hunter, like there is really not much toxicity actually at all. There are some, of course,
Hmm.
but it's not as toxic as some of the other communities out there for like other games. What do you guys think of that?
Mm. Good point. Good point. Mm. Well, first off, if it's made in Malaysia, it's definitely not 4 but 3A.
That's true. Good
Yeah.
point. 'Cause
We have
we
a
don't
squad of
live
three. We're looking for the A.
you
All
can't live
today.
on the fourth floor. It's the three.
I love it.
Yeah.
Squad 3A.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. So I took a break from playing like Valorant every day, and Helldivers is kind of like what comes in, in the meantime.
Mhm.
I'd say it's less stressful, less toxic
Hmm.
because like in CS and Valorant, like the other team members, your own team members can be like very toxic, and mentally if you're not strong enough, like it will go into your head and you'll like it will affect like the way you play the game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, whereas in Helldivers, like there are people that are trolling, like random players that join in your lobby. They can just like throw in like a airstrike and it'll hit you like out of
This is
nowhere.
friendly fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
guess. Yeah. Go
there's
ahead.
also an option where like you can just like turn off like
Mhm.
your the lobby to private, so only your friends can join you.
Cool.
And
Mm.
I think that will like kind of like eliminates like if other people like or your worries were like, oh hey, I don't want to play with randoms because like they troll too much. So yeah.
That's. I was wondering, like, there are. I mean, I guess there's always going to be shitheads in every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in an MMO kind of space like Monster Hunter, I guess, or WoW, or I mean, even in WoW, there were shitheads with the whole Leroy Jenkins. That was one guy ruining a 16-man
Yeah.
raid before it even got started. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I get it. You know, like there's always gonna be morons out there who
Yeah.
just want to do something for shits and
Mhm.
giggles. Like, but I suppose the toxicity is not as much, like
Mm.
because like for the same reason, like when I just started playing Tekken 8 again. Like
Mm.
I installed it, it was on sale on Steam, so I started playing. And again, like the level of competition in Asia, everyone seems to be at like this tier, and I'm just like this tier. So
Mhm.
I can win a round or two, but if I'm about to win the game, oh, it's like straight rage quit. You know, and then the guy will join back my lobby and try to take my points again. I'm like, damn. But I like a lot of the times people here don't accept losing very well.
Mm.
They don't understand the concept of losing. They don't understand the lessons you get from losing.
Mm.
So like a lot of people say like you have to learn to fall before you can learn to walk or you can learn to fly.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that adage, it means like to the average Asian mentality, it would just be like, no lah, if you just tell me how to do it right, I'll never do it wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It's something to do with that. That's why like when you go to Dota 2 and play the game and all that, every time you do something wrong, it's like, oh my god, bro.
Mm.
You can apologize for something profusely and it still be your fault forever,
Yeah.
forever. You know what I mean? Like it's
But
just it's
I
just
think, I
you can't
mean,
let go.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame people or fault people for wanting to win, right? Because I mean, who doesn't want to win, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that part we all get. But I think a lot of people get salty is because life is so hard, and we turn to games, and
Mm.
we want to be happy in games, right? But I think people are forgetting the fact that actually games can teach you so many things, right? So
Mm,
part of gaming is about patience, temperance. It is about also learning, right? So
Mhm.
yes, I mean you will lose, and I think the best teachers of this is kind of like the one-on-one fighting games because it's just
oh,
you. It has no one else you can blame, right? It's just
Mm.
yeah.
you. But I mean, whoever rage quits, and I mean, we all feel like rage quitting, right? But at the end of the day, it's like if you want to improve in something, you just got to look at yourself in the mirror, right?
Mm.
And I guess that if I think a lot of people try to put back in that in perspective, then a lot of Dota players wouldn't be so toxic. I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
can you imagine? I'm like one of those dudes who started out with like 1,500 MMR,
Mm.
and I've gone below 800, and there's still idiots who play at that level
Yeah.
in ranked, and
Mm.
all they're doing is just being toxic all the time. It's just crazy funny that like it was to the point that I was just like, you know what, forget it. This game is not worth my time. I much prefer playing Mobile Legends. It's so much easier.
Mm.
I'm so good at that game. Like with Dota, I just suck ass. I just don't want to play it anymore. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I think like mentality wise, I don't know whether we'll ever be rid of the toxic people out there.
Mm.
Mm.
Like I think I remember sharing with you when came back from Canada 2 years ago or a year, 2 Decembers ago, Josh, that when I was playing Tekken 7 over there on my Steam Deck, I played the same guy 10 times. He
Mm.
lost 8 times to me,
Mm.
but he came back because he won twice.
Yeah.
He just kept coming back because he was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this puzzle out. And it's like it's a low level game. It's not even like a 8 dan or a 9 dan or like whatever cube.
Yeah.
Don't know what the crap left. But
Mm.
like here, it's like, oh, how dare you defeat me?
You know, so it's so totally true, right? Because like right now when I'm playing Street Fighter 6, right,
Hmm.
I just join the battle hub and I get creamed by masters.
Yeah.
Mm.
But and these games, right, some of them actually give me the privilege of playing the first to 10, and I will
Mhm.
lose every round. But they still stay on, and I sometimes think that why are you doing this, bro? I mean, you can just leave the cabinet, right? I will leave too, you know.
Mm.
But when I was listening to a few videos on YouTube and stuff, it's kind of like if someone is there to help you,
Hmm.
if they click rematch, right, it means that they are trying to either help you or they're trying to learn something from you. Maybe they're trying to learn from how stupid you are, but still, it's still something, right? And but in turn, I'm trying to learn something from them too. So I think if people have that perspective too, right, it's kind of like both can win in some way,
Mhm.
even though technically I still walk away with like 0-10, right? But still, I mean,
Mm.
it's what you is what you get out of it, right? So yeah, I think maybe what's missing in some communities is that sense of, if even if you lose, there's something that you get out of it.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's lost here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember there was one time I was playing Counter Strike, and this kid that I've been playing Counter Strike with, we were ranking up just before the big giant ban wave. So we made it to like he started playing with me when I was like Silver Elite Master.
Mm.
So we went from there all the way up to like Master Guardian
Mhm.
E or something like that,
Mhm.
MGE or whatever. So I took him up to a certain point, like past Gold Nova 4, and then he suddenly got really good. as all kids do, right? I was like in my 30s. He was like 20, like no, not even 20. He was like 16 years old, 15 years old, and he was just like, I beat him in one match. He added me on Steam, and he said, "Hey, can you just like help me rank up?" I'm like, "Cool, sure." So we played, and I realized like when he carried me from MGE to Legendary Eagle Master,
Mm.
bro, I'm not even getting like a quarter of the deaths in frags. I'd die 20 times and get like 5 kills. Yeah, on a good game, I'd be like 10 and 20. You know what I mean? But like, there was a lot of shared, like, you know how you came up with that line, shared adversity? That's true. Like, you know what I mean? You ride or die together, right? And all that. But you're not just blindly following a friend into battle, right? You pick, you choose the person's going to take you there. And then you probably try and learn the most that you can from either or party, right? And there you get a little bit better. I guess I don't know. There's something to it, though.
Yeah, and ego plays a huge role in this kind of competitive games. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like with my team of my Valorant team, like they are my outside friends too. So it's like sometimes you kind of have like
you gotta put up with them, right?
yeah, take care of their feelings too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's tough. That's rough.
it is, especially when you're playing like because there's a rank and unrank, and when you're playing like rank, you don't want to lose your rank.
Yeah.
And there's always like this one person that'll be like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's box? Where's left? Where's subway? You know?" And so yeah, and all of us are getting better, and you know, he was like, "Oh, I'm here to just have fun, right?" Yeah, it's okay to have fun.
Yeah.
But maybe on unranked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
because there's a purpose to what you guys are doing now, right?
Yeah, there's purpose.
Yeah, but I think tactical shooters like that, the fun happens when you execute really well. Like
Yes,
the
yes.
fun happens when not only you execute really well, but you clutch out a round. And like I mean, that's where the fun starts and the fun ends. I think that's what people are looking for. And but to be fair, when I first started playing Counter Strike in like beta 6.6, right, it was like there was no 5 versus 5. There were like the starts of tournaments back then. They were really sort of basic tournaments. There weren't even that many LANs. If there were LANs, not the best players couldn't go there because there was no sponsorship. And the game was basically like you go into a server and see if you can just sort of mop the floor with everybody. And this is at the advent of high-speed broadband, right? Like we didn't get that here until like when I got back. So, which was like 2003, 2004, right? We got StreamX. But back in the day, like when I was over in Canada, like the whole flex was to go into someone's server and top frag for an entire map. You know what I mean? And like then they ban you or they kick you for being too good because their egos are hurt and they're like, chalk one up. Been kicked out of this server for being too good. But like, there's no joy in playing the regular version of Counter Strike anymore. You go into a 16-16 server or a 10-10 server, and it's not fun. Like that whole Asian mentality of not wanting to die and not wanting to complete the objective in game, it's super prevalent. Like people just spawn camp in their T and they're supposed to plant the bomb, but they don't bother, and they don't bother achieving the objective so that they can have a clean score line. Like, oh, 30 kills, 0 death, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, kind of defeats the purpose of the game if you play selfishly. You know what I mean? Like other people are trying to accomplish the mission, but a lot of people don't want to, right? They're just like, no. Because I always felt like playing gun game was more fun in Counter Strike, right? The one where you just keep shooting people and every
arms
two kills you
challenge.
get arms race. You get to level up your weapon. That was more fun. You know what I mean? Like, because there's you can camp spawn all you want. you're still gonna end up with a pea shooter at the end. You're gonna go and beat somebody with a Glock 18, right?
Yeah. My God, those were the days, huh? Counter Strike. CS.
I had to uninstall already. I couldn't do another round of CS2. I mean, I played CS for nearly 20 years. I mean, I think I deserve a break.
Long one.
Yeah, because I figured I couldn't get past the negativity anymore. It was one of those things where I'm supposed to play to relax, and what I'm doing is I'm getting more stressed out.
Yeah.
I'm getting angry, and then I
Yeah.
can't sleep at night, and I think about Counter Strike, and then I wake up at 3 a.m. to go watch NIP play or some shit like that. Like, fuck, I think it's over. I'm done.
Yeah.
No more of this. You know what I mean? It's just too much of a time commitment.
It is. It definitely is.
Like,
That's why like some people like especially in the CS community they don't play the game anymore, but they just watch like the esports now because
yeah,
like I think they enjoy that more compared to like you know facing like other people and like going through the toxicity in game and such. So
it's. I would say, you know what the beautiful thing about Counter Strike is that when it's like ESL or PGL,
mm,
when they've got their hired in-game camera guys,
mm,
oh dude, when they capture the moment, they really capture the moment. Like, it's like it's kind of like, oh, I like playing basketball, but I know I'm not going to be LeBron James. But I can watch basketball. I can enjoy the highlights, and watching these tournaments is like that, right? It's become a
Yeah.
spectator
It is.
sport. Like, I think the most watchable, other than Street Fighter, is probably Counter Strike. You're
yeah.
always catching up to the action, and now they have like the editing and the broadcast quality is so good. It's like watching
It's
in
like
live
watching football
sports.
itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like watching
It's
live
like
sports.
they'll do a little, in the frame of what you missed, the instant replay and all that kind of stuff. And it's beautiful. It's great. It was like WWE when you were on commercial break. This is what you missed in the small corner of your screen. You know what I mean? This guy got body slammed, suplex.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's like it brings the fun element back to being a spectator. I don't know. What do you think is going to be the next thing for Helldivers? I want to say it's going to be PvP. I'm kind of hoping that like Super Earth splits into two factions.
Whoa, that sounds interesting.
You know, like you know how every Gundam story is about Mars colony.
Yeah. It's between what the I forgot what's the other side. The ones with the Zaku.
Yeah. The Zekus and then the Gundams, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always they're always at odds with each other. And it's always a colony that isn't getting enough respect from the planet, the home world. I mean, I guess it's a similar trope in everything, right? Like Foundation is exactly like that, right? Where
Yeah.
the home planet is the one who enslaves the entire galaxy, right? It's kind of cool if you think about it. If
Yeah,
they made it a short PvP stint where you have to see who takes over Super Earth, the communists or democracy.
Yeah, maybe that would be cool, right? If it's kind of like a short burst thing rather than a new built-in mode, then it's something that on like a limited time rather than
like an espionage kind of thing.
yeah.
Kind of cool. That'd be like a Rainbow Six kind of thing, but in Super Earth. That'd be kind of neat. I would definitely do that. Hopefully, someone's watching. The Helldivers team, the dev team is like, we need to save the president. All right, man. I think cool. We can call it there. That was a pretty good episode on Helldivers 2.
Oh, it's been an hour. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Time just
And
flies.
we're running out of things to talk about anyway, so yeah.